Bilal, great to see you. Thank you so much for inviting us here to Shalimar Restaurant on Jones Street. I'm really excited to try the food. Tell us what this restaurant means to you.
This restaurant, I think, represents the heart of what San Francisco represents. Growing up, my parents moved here 30 years ago. They're a child of immigrants. They moved from Pakistan and left when a military dictator took over the country. And obviously, a standard immigrant story is you leave behind a taste of home for a search of a better life here in the Bay Area. But this restaurant was actually what San Francisco represented to my family growing up. So almost every other weekend, we would come here.
So for folks who are just tuning in to this assembly race, they may not have heard your name before. So tell us, who are you?
Yeah, so my name is Bilal Mahmood. I'm a civil servant and an entrepreneur, and we're fighting for the middle class and for immigrants and for those seeking a better life. Distilled down, what are the causes for inequality and the dream of the middle class? It's three things. It's housing, it's schools, and it's safety. I've spent over a decade in my career across various different disciplines trying to actually address issues of economic mobility and social mobility. I started as a neuroscientist, working in medical research and stem cell research at Stanford Medical School, transitioned to working as a policy analyst for President Obama on small business policy, and then started a nonprofit helping with micro-lending services, and then a for-profit company that helped with helping to bridge the digital divide for other small businesses to get access to the tools that Amazon has had as well.
Well, you do have an unusual background for a political candidate. You've primarily been in the private sector in science and technology and business. Analysis of problems is one thing, but executing solutions is another in the assembly. So, what's your pitch to folks who, you don't have political experience really, so why are you the right person for this job?
I think one facet is what has political experience got us in terms of outcomes. We look at where we are today. Over the last 5 to 10 years, inequality is up. The number of people who are unhoused is up. The number of people with opioid overdoses is up. The housing prices have gone up. So if that's what political leadership gets us today, then I think something is fundamentally off. Second is the nature of problems have fundamentally shifted. Look at the pandemic. The pandemic was solved by scientists, technologists, and nonprofits and government working together to solve those challenges ahead. Climate is the same problem. We haven't solved it because we don't have those people in the same room or people with that experience to actually solve it. So I'd say the nature of the problems that politicians have to face has fundamentally shifted, especially with the nature of technology coming in. And I think it's a trend that's showing that people want something different, but also we need something different if we're actually going to solve the challenges that we have ahead, because the stakes are way too high to rely on politics as usual. And that's why I think I'm the person to solve the challenges we have ahead, because they haven't solved it in the last 10 years.
But for someone like you who doesn't necessarily have a ton of name recognition, why not start with the classic route of running for school board and then supervisor, like we've seen so many times before? Why jump to assembly?
I think that's unethical. I think people should run for the position that they're qualified for. I'm not going to start a school board. I have never worked in education. I don't have kids. I'm not a teacher. I'm not qualified to serve on the school board. I think a lot of the problems that we face in the city is that everyone is always working on the job they want next from the job they have today. And as a result, we get a lack of outcomes. Everything that happened with the school board. And so I think for me, it's a balance of what are the problems I care about and where are the solutions that can be solved for that. The problems that I care the most about stem from inequality and climate. It's housing, it's school, and it's transit and safety, as well as climate. Those are things that are really going to be solved at the state.
So if I'm not mistaken, one of your competitors in this race, Supervisor Matt Haney, is your current representative, is that right?
Yes.
What is your assessment of his job performance?
The best way to look at it, again, is the outcomes. In the time that he's been in office, the inequality has risen, housing prices have gone up, there was more opioid deaths than COVID deaths, the number of unhoused have increased, the number of small businesses have closed. Small business closures were a lot more concentrated in D6 rather than they were in other parts of the city. And so by every outcome of a city, it's doing bad. And he's a nice person, probably one of the nicest on the supervisors, but niceness isn't what we need. We need outcomes and actually good governance. I'm perfectly fine being in the assembly until I term out, because I think it's one of the most important positions to actually be operating on. I'm not a career politician, and so for me, I'll operate on the job that I'm tasked with rather than the next job that I want. I don't want the next job.
What is your hope for San Francisco?
My hope is that we make San Francisco, again, a beacon of hope for the middle class. I think a lot of the conversation in our city happens at the extremes, and it's really left a lot of people out of the conversation. It's tantamount to the dream of the middle class and immigrants that we have good housing, we have good schools, we have good safety, we have good transit, because that's what's essential for our city to return to that beacon of hope that my parents came here for, and so that like people who run this restaurant that we're sitting in could make it today, and my parents, if they moved here, could make it today. That's what I hope San Francisco returns to over the years to come.